Hey guys, how's it going? I am really tired right now and I really want to go to bed, but the new Akiza cards from Doom of Dimensions actually got revealed right now and I could go to sleep, which is what I want to do. However, I know people really want to see what these new cards do because one of the things my channel does is whenever new cards first get revealed, I always make videos about them showing you some new combos. So, like I said, I am really tired, but I could go to sleep, but I know people really want to see new combos on these new cards as soon as possible because they're actually really exciting. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to sleep later and I'll make a video about these new cards right now because like I said, they are really exciting and you can do a lot of stuff with them. So yeah, I guess I'm just gonna combo instead of going to bed, but that's my own personal problem, which I know no one cares about. So yeah, I'll just talk about the cards now. The first monster is called Violence Witch, which is a retrain of Violet Witch from the original Crimson Crisis, which is always really cool that they remember some of Kizo's older cards. So this card is a level 4 non-tuner monster, so if you control Black Rose Dragon or a monster that mentions it, or a planned Synchro monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is sent to the grave and a Synchro monster is on the field, you can discard one card, special summon one plant monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck. Also, you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Synchros. So first of all, this card is insanely broken. These are two really strong effects, but also the first effect is really good with Rockstar's Dragon. If you don't know what that card does, is when it's normal or special summon, you can add a monster that mentions, or you can add a card that mentions Black Rose Dragon from your deck to your hand. So immediately this card gives you a one card Synchro and also a one card Black Rose Dragon, which is awesome. So this card is insane for a lot of reasons, but it's also a one card starter, which is amazing because now Rockstar's Dragon is a one card combo. Rose Dragons already had a one card combo, but it wasn't really that great because you had to play Ruddy Rose Witch, which pretty much made Witch of the Black Rose a one card combo, but not really as good as this. This is a lot better. Now you don't have to play the Ruddy Rose Witch engine, which played quite a few bricks because you don't have to play Rose Fairy, you don't have to play Witch of the Black Rose, and also if you drew Witch of the Black Rose, it just made Ruddy Rose Witch completely dead, so you had to play multiple of that, which is very unoptimal. So I'm very happy they gave Akiza a one card starter that's actually good because Rockstar's Dragon is already a card that you're playing multiple of because in a Rose Dragon deck, that card is very powerful. The second card is amazing because one of the things that this card says is it doesn't even have to be used as synchro material. A lot of the time when cards have graveyard effects to special summon a monster, they have to be used as synchro material, but this card can just be sent to the grave. So if you have Foolish Burial or a card that sends a this card to the grave, when you have a synchro monster on the field, which we'll talk about later, you immediately get an extender, and discarding a card is not that big of a deal because a lot of Rose Dragon cards actually want to be in the grave, same with a lot of plant cards, so this is not an issue at all. But even if you do have to discard a card that doesn't do anything in the grave, that's really easy to do just because you're going to be starting the game with 5 cards anyways, and because you have a 1 card starter in Rockstar's Dragon, it doesn't really matter that you have to discard. Yeah, anyways, this is a Violet Witch retrain that is insanely broken. The next card is Twilight Rose Black Knight, which is a retrain of Twilight Rose Knight. So as you can see, they kind of took the cards that Akiza had from Crimson Crisis and made them into some new cards, which are very cool. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon one Black Rose or one level 4 or lower plant monster from your grave but negate its effects. Plant monsters you control gain 1000 attack while you control a synchro monster, and you can also target one other plant monster you control, increase or decrease its level by 1, and this card is a level 3 plant tuner monster. I'm very happy they made it that card, by the way, because the original Twilight Rose Knight is a warrior, and obviously it makes sense, but this card would not work with any of the new support if it's a warrior, so they made it a plant. So good job, Konami, you understood that. This card is very good because it works with Violet Witch, because this is the monster that they want you to special summon from the deck after you synchro summon with that card. So yeah, that's very nice. Another great thing about this card is that it will special summon Violence Witch from your graveyard, and because that card is a level 4 and this is level 3, you can make Black Rose Dragon or a level 7 synchro, but you can also decrease its level to summon another new synchro that I'm going to talk about after. So Konami has really thought really well with the support, and they made the cards that actually work together. This is a lot better than the support Yusei got in his Power of Fellow structure deck, because almost none of those cards work well with the existing cards that he has in his Stardust or Junk Speeder deck, but these cards already work well with the existing plant support that Akiza has with her Rose Dragon, so that's always a great thing to see. So these two main deck monsters are really strong. You're definitely going to want to maximize on 3 copies of each because these cards are really good extenders in the Rose Dragon deck. So the next card is a level 7 synchro called Brambo Rose Dragon. This is a retrain of Black Rose Dragon. Each time your opponent activates a monster effect, inflict 600 damage to them when that effect's resolved, and all monsters they control lose 600 attack. During the main phase, you can tribute this card, special summon a Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck. This is treated as a synchro summon. You can banish this card from the grave to special summon a level 4 or lower plant tuner monster from your grave. grave. This card is amazing. The first effect is nice burn damage because when you get into time, that is something that is a really big factor. Another really nice thing about this card is that I wanted a level 12 Black Rose Synchro monster to special summon Black Rose Dragon and treat it as a Synchro summon, but this is even better because this card has a really nice grave effect, so you're essentially getting 2 for 1 for this effect. This third effect may not seem really strong right now, however, trust me, you can do some really cool things with it. So this card is amazing, exactly what Rose Dragon needed. The next card is Hate Rose Witch. If this card is Synchro summon, you send 2 plant monsters to the grave, 1 from your main deck and 1 for the extra deck, and also you can't special summon for the rest of this turn from your extra deck except Synchros. Plant monster you control can't be destroyed by card effects. If a card on the field is destroyed by card effect while this card is in the grave, special summon it. This is an insane card. This does so many things. There are so many good main deck plant monsters that you want to send from your main deck to the grave, and there are so many cards in your extra deck that also have graveyard effects. The Brambo Rose Dragon has an effect, but you can also send Garden Rose Maiden to special summon a Rose Dragon from your grave or a Dragon Synchro monster. Plant monsters not being able to be destroyed by card effects protects you from Black Rose Dragon, so your opponent is the only one that is going to have monsters destroyed if you activate the effect of Black Rose Dragon, which is amazing. And even if this card does get destroyed, it just special summons itself from the grave. Whoever from Konami made this card definitely wanted this card to be broken, and they succeeded because this card is insane. The last card is a continuous spell called Black Rose Garden. When this card resolves, add a Rose Dragon card from your deck or grave to your hand. Face-up monsters on the field become plant monsters. If this card is destroyed, inflict 100 damage to your opponent for each plant monster in your grave or your banishment. Then if this card was destroyed by the effect of Black Rose Dragon, inflict 2400 points of damage to them. The burn effect is really nice, but that first effect is just so amazing because, as I said before, Rox Rose Dragon is a starter, so now you have a card that searches your starter, which is always a good thing. 1 card combos, and then you get some additional effects, which obviously are not like the reason you're playing this card, but they're just extra. You're going to be playing this card for the first effect, and everything else that you get here is just extra stuff that you don't need, but it's always nice to have. Alright, now that we've been over the new cards, it's time to show you a combo. So for this combo, all you need is Black Rose Garden or Rox Rose Dragon and a card to discard. You're going to activate Black Rose Garden to get a search for Rox Rose Dragon, and then you're going to normal summon the Rox Rose Dragon. You're going to use that card's effect to get a search for Violent Witch, and then you're going to special summon Violent Witch because you control a monster that mentions Black Rose Dragon. You're going to take the Rox Rose Dragon and Violent Witch as synchro material so you can summon Bramble Rose Dragon from your extra deck, and now this will trigger the effect of Violent Witch. You're going to discard that card from your hand to special summon Twilight Rose Black Knight, and then use the effect of that card to special summon Violent Witch from your grave. You're going to use the effect of Twilight Rose Black Knight to decrease the level of Violent Witch by 1, so they're both level 3 monsters, and you're going to use both monsters as synchro material to summon Hate Rose Witch. Hate Rose Witch on summon will activate its effect to send Soul Drampon from your deck to the grave, as well as Garden Rose Maiden. You're going to use the effect of Soul Drampon because it was sent to the grave from your deck by the effect of a monster to special summon it. You have to use Soul Drampon here because in the OCG they have Gold Ball, but in the TCG we don't have that card, so you have to use Soul Drampon here if you want to do this combo. You're going to use Soul Drampon and Bramble Rose Dragon to summon Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and then use the effect of Garden Rose Maiden to banish it from the grave to bring back that Bramble Rose Dragon. So your ending board should be Hate Rose Witch, Bramble Rose Dragon, and Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. So you get a monster negate out of it as well, and because of the spell card, it treats all monsters on the field as a plant monster. So now Hate Rose Dragon will protect Crystal Wing, so it won't get destroyed when you use the effect of Bramble Rose Dragon to special summon Black Rose Dragon, which is treated as a synchro summon, so you get to destroy the board. So bare minimum out of 1 card, you get a pretty strong board, and if you want to go back, you can also do something pretty interesting. This will depend on what deck your opponent is playing, whether or not this will hurt them, but will be a lot better than the Crystal Wing combo in some scenarios. What you're going to do off Hate Rose Witch is send another copy of Bramble Rose Dragon from your deck to the grave and a Churia Rose Whip. If you don't know what this card does, is that when it's on the field, your opponent can only activate 1 spell or trap per turn, which depending on what deck your opponent's playing can just completely shut them down. So Bramble Rose Dragon has an effect to banish itself from the grave to special summon a level 4 or lower plant tuner from your grave, so that's how you special summon this card. Now like I said, it's completely dependent on what your opponent is playing, whether or not this is actually good. The Crystal Wing combo might be a bit better if your opponent is playing a deck that really needs monster effects. However, if your opponent is playing a deck where they need to activate a lot of spell or trap, Naturia Rose Whip just completely ends their turn. Anyways, these cards are completely broken. I hope you guys enjoyed this combo. Like I said, my channel, I always like to do combos really early as soon as the cards get revealed because I know a lot of people like seeing this stuff and it's always really fun for me to brainstorm combos. I hope you guys enjoyed. I am really tired right now, but there are more new cards that also got revealed, such as True Draco and Tri Brigade, and I really like Tri Brigade. It's my favorite out of the Fallen of Alba's lower archetypes next to Sword Soul, so I'm really tired right now. I want to sleep, but I might just make that video and go to sleep after. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good one.